Hello, everyone. Welcome to T1D Tuesday, our weekly series where we talk all things T1D with a guest who has some connection to the community. I'm your host today, Nuclear, and today we have with us ToonaFeesh, who's been involved with our community for quite a while. You might be familiar with him, especially if you have a Blue Heart Award, as designed by yours truly. But ToonaFeesh, I want to let you go ahead and introduce yourself to everyone who might not know who you are.
Yeah, I'm Tuna. I am a software developer. I build like e-learning solutions for a company. I've been working with them for the last 10 or 12 years or so. Started doing Twitch streaming about 4 years ago when COVID hit. Kind of started missing people when we started working from home. Wanted to get better at public speaking. I don't know if I ever got better at public speaking, but I'm more comfortable with it for the most part. It's kind of turned into more of a platform for fundraising versus what it originally started as. But I love doing 3D printing and things like that as well. But yeah, it's kind of me in a nutshell.
Love that. I love that you've taken. I've kind of done the same on my own Twitch too, but taking it and transforming it to do good.
I want to do more good in the world, and I want to do a good in the world for a cause I believe in, and he is my cause that I believe in. I want to see a cure in his lifetime. He's only 12. I believe we will see a cure in his lifetime, and the way I can hopefully help out to hopefully get us there.
Yeah, I mean, we're definitely have been making huge strides, big progress in that journey. It's really been incredible the amount of progress that we have made. Remind me how you got connected to Breakthrough T1D play amongst the Twitch side of things, your son having type 1 diabetes. How did you meet us here?
That is a great question. I honestly don't remember. I remember how I met Breakthrough T1D. We got a care package in the mail when he was first diagnosed with a Rufus bear and a lot of good resources, and that was phenomenal. Um, I think what it was is a few months into streaming, I was like, I saw people doing charity events for St. Jude's and all these other charities that they believed in, and I'm like, I wonder if there's one for type 1. I wonder if there's one for JDRF at the time.
Hmm.
And I started looking into it, and I found, oh, hey, look at that, there is one. They actually have a whole program set up. And I think I reached out to, I think it was the other Emily at the time.
Hmm.
um and she kind of got me connected in, and started chatting with a lot of people. Bearded Legend was an absolute, well, legend about just being one of the nicest people, getting me connected with the community. Ellie was absolutely amazing with that as well. Um, just such a warm, welcoming community to get involved with.
It really is. There's so many phenomenal people here, and you're one of them. Not to put it lightly, you've done incredible work for us. I love that your son got a Rufus and was your way kind of introduced to Breakthrough T1D, formerly JDRF at the time. That was my door into this community too. Was, oh, there he is.
That one's mine. I think he has three of them now.
I was say you probably have a collection of Rufuses.
Rufa? I think it's, yeah. This one's mine.
Love
I
it.
finally got my own
Love
after
it.
4 years.
how how has then Breakthrough T1D, made an impact then on your journey being a father to a son living with type 2 diabetes?
Honestly, I think just that care package originally meant the world. When he was first diagnosed, we had absolutely no idea what to do. Meeting with doctors and dietitians and social workers and nurses and reps from Tandem and Dexcom, and it was so overwhelming. Just a little bit of love shown from an organization that they don't have to do this kind of thing, and yet they send a care package to my kid. I mean, that meant
Yeah.
the world to us, and a lot of good resources, and just Now that we've gotten involved with raising money and everything, all the youth ambassadors that we get the letters from every year, they're adorable. There's a
Yes.
video letter, the video that got sent out that we absolutely loved it. It was just it means so much to be able to see these things and the impact that we're being able to provide now, but also just them returning that love back to us. It makes
Yes.
everything worthwhile and everything, you know.
It is really huge being able to see. You're referencing back for our Creators for Cures event. We had Charlie, who's 5 years old, son of Brave Edits, who's uh, now part of our team here, helping edit videos for us. We are listening to this later. Um, his son sent out a little video thank you to everyone who fundraised, and it was really, really touching. And it is just a great reminder of how many people out there, not just your own personal bubble, but how many others out there are touched by this condition and living life with type 1 diabetes, the impact we have. I also hear you too with that, like getting that care package in the hospital when the diagnosis first happened. I also experienced that, and I remember that as a child being really scared, and getting my own Rufus kind of made me feel not so alone in a way, and knowing that there's others out there, because I think it can feel a little isolating. So having this community really is so meaningful. Speaking of like that diagnosis, can you recall for us, remember like kind of the story of when your son was first diagnosed with T1D, what that was like and what you were feeling?
Yeah. So my mom, before she passed away, she used to work in the school district, and so she worked with a lot of diabetic kids in the district. So she knew the signs ahead of time. And so my son was for, I think it was either Memorial Day or 4th of July. It was one of the holidays. We were at her house, and um, my son was going to the bathroom like constantly, every 15 minutes. And she said, "Hey, you need to get him in." Of course, it was a holiday, couldn't really get him in. Next day, my wife took him. I was at work, and I remember getting the phone call, and my heart just sank. Like I had no idea. It was terrifying because I didn't know the slightest thing about it. It's you don't know what you don't know.
Yeah.
And so I remember driving in, and that whole week was just overwhelming. Um, that night you're getting information. Hey, you got to give your kid this many shots tonight. You got to check his. You got to poke his finger. Kid's 4 years old. You gotta stab him with needles and do this and that every hour, every couple hours, all night long. And you gotta bring him back tomorrow. And we gotta do it again. You gotta meet with dietitians. You gotta meet with. We're gonna go over carb ratios. We're gonna go over diets. We're gonna go over how you inject everything. We're gonna go over what all the numbers mean. We're gonna go over everything. And it's a week of just intense training on how to take care of everything, and it's intense.
It is.
um,
It is.
and then you find out, hey, you're gonna be doing this for the next 3 months before we can even consider giving them a pump or a CGM to make your life easier, because we want to make sure you know how to do all this. As a software developer, I didn't want to count carbs, so within the first week, I wrote an app.
Oh wow.
I tied in
I love
tied
that.
into some tied into some carb counting APIs with like Calorie King or one of those sites. I can't remember which one it was. And so we just typed in the food, and it would do all that. And we had all of his ratios in there, and it would calculate it. And so we knew, hey, these are his 3 things he's eating. This is what we need to give him. So I made it super simple for us because
Yeah.
that's just the kind of person I was. Um, yeah, that week was intense, but we met some other cool families at the time. People coming in from Nebraska and South Dakota, because there's not a lot of endocrinologists apparently in those states. Whereas in Colorado, we have the Barbara Davis Center, which is an absolute massive facility that does research and everything there as well. and so people are flying in, driving in, and met some really cool families. And I mean, I'm sure they were more overwhelmed than we were having to deal with,
Yeah.
finding a place to stay and everything. But it was a week.
It's a lot, especially as you said, you went into it when you heard the news that he has type 1 diabetes. You didn't really know what it was at the time. Is that
I had an idea, but everybody always gets type 1 and type 2 confused. I think not everybody, a lot of people do, and
yeah.
I think I was in the same boat.
Yeah, that it's and that's like a big part of our mission here too, with not just like finding a cure and research, but that whole education aspect, which is why we love doing T1D Tuesdays, because I think type 1 diabetes is such a misunderstood condition, especially when you have also the existence of type 2, which, if anyone doesn't know, is inherently very different, especially how you treat them, not knowing what to expect. Yeah, and having to get a big, like, that's anyone familiar with type 1 diabetes living with it or having to take care of someone with it, I'm sure could tell you that the ins and outs of managing T1D, so many little things affect it. And I'm sure even within like that week course, there was a lot of stuff that you leave feeling like you had a good grasp on it at the end of the week, or were you still like feeling overwhelmed with it?
Um, I mean, we were overwhelmed, but I think we knew what needed to be done.
Mm.
I know the Barbara Davis Center, like they have resources on call 24/7. So there were a handful of times we had to call them. I think the thing that really scared us at the time was, hey, if your kid's blood sugar goes really low, here's how you use glucagon, which is not
Mm-hmm.
an easy thing to learn. You have to swirl
Mm.
it in a very specific way and do all this and that. And thankfully, like Baqsimi is out now, and
Yes.
that's significantly easier.
Yes.
I think glucagon was the thing that scared me the most. The shots, yeah, you don't want to hurt your kid. He took it all like it was nothing, but
Good to
I
hear.
think it affected us way more than it ever affected him.
Yeah. Well, that's I that is good to hear at least. And just for anyone in chat watching who doesn't know, glucagon is an injection you do if someone is unresponsive because of a low blood sugar. It kind of is comparable to like an EpiPen almost, but a little bit more complicated. And now we have access to something called Baqsimi that is just like a nasal spray. So the difference between doing one of those in an emergency situation, night and day. So really, again, the research has continued to develop in a fantastic way. Um, how long did it take until your son started then a CGM and the pump? What was that journey like?
Ooh, let's see. I think it was probably 3 or 4 months in,
Okay.
maybe even a little longer, but it was a few months in, and that I mean that made like I was significantly better. We go
Yeah.
from what I'm gonna say 10 shots and maybe 15 finger pokes a day down to uh you know one pump site
Mm-hmm.
every 3 days and one CGM site every 10 days. So there's still the occasional finger pokes and everything, but it's night and day difference. You're almost only getting poked 2 or 3 times a week
Yeah.
versus 20 times a day potentially.
Yeah. Especially can imagine when dealing with a child as young as he was at 4 years old. Um, Even saying that he took it like a champ, I can imagine. I would imagine that it still was not the easiest thing.
Yeah, definitely not. I mean, it's still harder for us, I think, as parents, just because you don't want
Hmm.
to put him through that.
Yeah.
I think the first few times were really hard for him, but once he realized, hey, the needles are really small, and they really, I mean, I've poked my finger a few times towards
Hmm.
the beginning, just because I'm like, I'm not gonna put him through it without knowing kind of what it's like. I
Yeah.
kind of want to make sure,
Oh.
what's he going through, and um, it's not that bad. Yeah, the tiny. It's just. I mean, it's just a little tiny poke.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's I did you like do the finger poke with him type of thing, or did you do it? That was probably nice for him
We
to
did.
see. Yeah.
Yeah, during the first week when we were talking to all the doctors and dietitians and everything, that was one thing they actually wanted us to do as well. Was the
Oh
finger
good.
poke, and then also if we wanted to get a shot in front of them as well with just some like saline or whatever it
Mhm.
was in there, we could do that as well. Which, fine, let's do it.
Mhm. Yeah. That I would imagine, yeah, for a child that young, seeing your parents do it again, like just comforting and knowing that it's not a big deal. It is very I can so I was diagnosed at 8, so a bit older, but it was a very overwhelming, intensive week. I remember the same thing where all of a sudden your whole world is changing and you have this condition that you have to manage now 24/7 for the rest of your life. It's very overwhelming. How do you balance managing your son's T1D among everything else in your life? How do you prioritize?
Well, he always comes first. I mean, it could still be overwhelming, even 8 years later. I think there was a time, was it maybe a month ago, where he had a stubborn high. He was like at 400 or 500 and had really high, really big ketones, and we just couldn't get it to go down. I mean, we changed his site, nothing, gave him a shot, nothing. We could not get it to go down at all. We finally ended up actually taking him to urgent care or ER or somewhere. I can't remember where we took him now. It was a month ago, and I still can't remember.
Oh wow.
I'm
Very
old. You know what I
recently.
mean? Yeah, it was like a month ago. Um, and it finally went down, but it just is one of those scary things. After like 12 hours, it's just, yeah, he's always number one priority. He has to be. It's
Yeah.
potentially life threatening if he drops too low, or it can be scary. But on the other side of it, we want to make sure that he can live his best life too. So not everything's an emergency, but
Yeah.
we always try to make sure, hey, your alarm's going off, your CGM's going off. Let's check it. Let's make
Hmm.
sure that it's okay. Oh, it's slightly high. Okay, drink some water. Let's keep doing our thing. Still going up. Okay, now let's take care of it. But for the most part, yeah, we'll try to always do what's best. Try to keep him in that range, which never happens, but we try our best.
Okay, so it sounds like he's 12 years old, and it sounds like you're trying to like direct him now maybe to be a little bit more independent. How are you working to like transfer him into being more independent?
He's actually gotten really good at counting his own carbs. Of course, he'll still go eat cereal, so his blood sugar will spike, of course. Um, he doesn't wait the 10 or 15 minutes he's supposed to. That's okay
Hmm.
sometimes, but for the most part, he's pretty good at counting his own carbs and doing all of that. Um, he was actually at a soccer camp recently, uh, 3 4 months ago. It was a diabetic soccer camp, and his site, of course, failed,
Oh,
and they wouldn't put in a site for him. And but they were super supportive, and they walked him through every step of it. Instead of using the AutoSoft ones that we normally use, they're like, hey, why don't you try the True Steel ones? So he's like, I don't know, I don't like the True Steel. Like I don't know if I could do that. And they got him to do it. He put it in himself, and now he loves those.
oh
And
wow.
he puts those in
Good.
himself all the time. He
Okay.
if we're doing the AutoSoft, he still makes us put those in right now. But the True Steel, he'll put those in his stomach and everything, and he's completely hands off on those. CGMs he still makes us do as well because it's kind of hard to do the back of your
Yeah.
own arm.
Yeah, I could understand.
Um, but for the
I
most
hate
part,
doing
he's
my own CGM. It's so awkward.
it is. Um, but for the most part, yeah, we try to we're trying to encourage him to do the most he can and ask for help if he can't. He's at 12 years old. He's
Yeah,
pretty self-sufficient.
it sounds like it, and that's really great for that age at 12 years old being that self-sufficient with it. I mean, he's also had it probably probably doesn't remember much of a life before T1D. 4 years old. Like that's something he just always had. But like I think that's really says a lot about your and your wife's parenting, honestly, for him to be that self-sufficient at 12 years old. I also just want to like backtrack a little bit. I know we were talking about balancing 1D and that being he's always the priority. Now I know you also have your son with type 1 diabetes is not your only child. Have one other kid? Correct me if
Yeah, my daughter's 16 and
daughter.
she
Okay.
just got her permit. Scary.
Ooh, getting to that age. How do you balance having a child with T1D and one without?
I know a lot of times she says it joking around, like, "Oh, he always gets stuff in the mail." It's like diabetes supplies. But I know at times she does feel left out on certain things because he does get to go to like diabetic camps, or there's a Halloween thing that is like a diabetic Halloween thing, a trick or treating thing indoors, and I try to set up like dad daughter dates. We'll go get a smoothie or we'll go do things like that. I probably don't do it as much as I should, but I try. It's hard. It's hard because unfortunately one is potentially life threatening and the other
Yes.
one's
Yeah.
not. But we definitely try to balance things out the best we can. But yeah, there have been times when she has made comments like, "Oh, but you do things for him." Well, unfortunately, we have to do those things because we have to. So now
Yeah.
it's she's getting to the driving age, so now we're spending a lot of time with her because she's learning how to drive. So I think it's kind of catching up to the other
Yeah.
side of things.
And I can that is like the harsh reality is that he is living with a condition that is life threatening if not managed correctly and does require extra time and care. How involved do you have her when like learning about type 1 diabetes? Care of him at all when he was younger or like have a good understanding of that? Only 4 years older than him.
Yep, she knows how to change the sites and
Okay.
CGMs and everything right now as well. So if we ever go on a date night or anything, uh, we're fully confident that she could handle pretty much any situation that comes up. Like last year when we went to Play by the Bay, we were gone for 3 days. We had a couple other people come in as well, but really she was kind of the one that was, taking care of him for the most part. Um,
That's
Other
so
adults were here, but
yeah.
I felt more confident my daughter was
Yeah.
going to be able to manage it. So
That's so funny because we've talked to other parents about babysitting situations and how that can be an obstacle and a scary thing as a type 1 parent to someone with T1D. Because there is so much, as we've said, like training and nuances that go on with managing it. So having your daughter be knowledgeable of it and know what to do in those situations has got to be relief.
it is. It is.
Yeah.
It's always nice having that third person that can step up if something happens.
In terms of like babysitting, do you have a family member who's like I know they're older now, but backtrack to was 4, she was 8. Have like family members or other people around to help support for that type of thing?
My sister, yeah, my sister only lives a few minutes away, and she works in healthcare.
Oh, that's
Um,
nice.
she doesn't necessarily do anything with that, but
Mhm.
she knows how to. We've trained her on all of it as well. I know my wife's sister also has. We've trained her on how to handle it all as well if she needs. So we have a few people in the area that if we absolutely needed, them to take the kids for a night, we'd be comfortable with them staying there.
That's good. That's so important to have those kind of one support in your life because it's a lot. It's a lot to handle. Being a parent alone is a lot, let alone one who has a, a life altering condition. What would you say is the most difficult thing about being a teen parent?
I mean, there's a couple things I would say. I would say, with the highs and lows comes sometimes an emotional roller coaster. You have the high blood sugar and then that immediate drop after you get insulin. It it can cause, you know, some attitude problems and stuff. Some of it could also be that he's almost a teenager,
Yeah.
but you know, I mean, I'm not going to say anger, but just a little bit of, kind of snippety kind of remarks. Like he just doesn't feel good. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So of course he's going to kind of snap a little bit. I get it. Try to be understanding of it, but also try to make it a teaching moment. Like, hey, I know you don't feel good, but let's not handle it in that way. The other thing is just handling the disappointment. He absolutely loves playing sports. Plays basketball, baseball, and soccer,
Oh wow.
and he is really good at all of them. He always makes the teams. He's scored goals. He scored a bunch of points in basketball last year. The hard part though is when you're playing sports, your blood sugar tends to drop. When your blood sugar tends to drop, your coach tends to take you out of the game because he has to. And then comes some disappointment with it because now you're not getting as many minutes as everybody else on the team. So you don't want your kid to be disappointed, but again, the teaching moment. You try to learn from the situations. You try to pump your kid full of carbs before a game.
Mhm.
You try to do what you can, but it doesn't always work out.
Yeah. Yeah. That's like it's the unfortunate thing that you think you've got it down and you know how to make it work, and then some factor changes the blood sugar roller coaster in some way that you don't know. Like there's so many different things that affect it that it's can be like that sometimes. Um, that's incredible that he's so active though and gets to participate in so many sports because that is difficult to deal with
I
as a
love that he
diabetic.
doesn't let anything slow him down. He just
Yeah,
keeps going, 24/7.
fantastic.
He's just on the move, and I love it. I also cannot keep up with him, but I do love that he's such an active kid and doesn't let anything slow him down.
Yeah, that's and always say there's very few things that I think having type 1 diabetes actually prevents you from doing. Can live a relatively normal life. As a T1D parent today, what gives you hope?
Oh, there's a lot of things. Like I still believe that there's going to be a cure in his lifetime. Like I said, I know Vertex is doing some amazing work with insulin cell replacement stuff. What was it? Last year they had 12 people go through their
I don't remember the
program, and
exact
11 out of
number.
12 were insulin independent after a year or something like that. So now they're doing the second stage of their human trials. So that's super exciting. And then yeah, I mean, there's a few other they're doing it, and just the constant technological advancements. Like I said, Baqsimi, that's huge.
Hmm.
Obviously, it'd be cooler to have a cure, but that still is a huge improvement of
Yeah.
life over previous things. Improving the the life of people with the 8+ million people in the world with type 1. But really, I mean, my focus is my one, but but of course, I always tell people, I'm kind of selfish when it comes to fundraising. Like, I'm really focused on my one, but I'm also excited for the other 8 million people that it also affects. Like I just want a cure for him, but also while we're at
There's
it,
so many of us that, and even beyond that, I love to talk about how like the research that's going into a cure for T1D, I think also will be applicable to other autoimmune conditions or other just in general that it's so much more than just us. That's so incredible. Last August, you hosted a fundraising event called Hooked on Hope that raised over $10,000. Tell us more about that event.
yeah, we started, let's see, January of last year probably. And what we do is we every year we hey, there's Kim in chat. Kim was a big part of it.
Hey,
So many people in the community helped out with it last year, making it a success. But we reached out to a lot of different companies. Zotac Gaming provided a gaming PC for us to give away
Oh
last year.
wow, yeah.
Uh, we had so many different companies sponsor the event. We did 3D printed guitars that were signed by Switchfoot, so
Oh,
those were cool. We just had so many giveaways. I don't know how long it took me to ship everything out afterwards, but it was probably a month and a half.
my
It took
goodness,
forever, it
yeah.
felt like. But we reached out to a lot of companies. We did the Manitou Incline, which in Colorado, the Manitou Incline is 2,800 stairs that are really like 2 stairs high up the side of a mountain. So myself and 3 other streamer friends went up the side of this mountain as part of it. We streamed part of it. We just did so many things different last year just to try and do things different than other people raising money.
Hmm.
Uh, and like I said, the community as a whole just made a huge difference. The Feesh slap,
I was gonna say,
yes.
yeah, we see in chat the fish slap, that was
Yeah, the
iconic.
Feesh slap was a thing. That was definitely a fun one.
For anyone who hadn't seen, Tuna had this contraption
It's
in the
had.
stream room that would set off a fish that kind of like flew down on a wire and slapped you in the face. It was hilarious. It was so cool. I loved that. There it is.
I had to set it up again.
I was wondering if you had it queued up there for us to see.
I think it was something like $50 donations or something like that was set up. um, we also did a huge water balloon fight at the end. If we raised so
Wow.
much, I dressed up in a tuna onesie, and really wasn't so much a water balloon fight as much as it was my kid pelting me with water balloons for 20 minutes outside.
Oh, I love
But it was a
that.
good time.
Love
It was a good
that.
time.
I know you mentioned that you did a bunch of 3D printed prizes. Did you make those all yourself?
Some of them I made, some of them I reached out to other creators that had already, designed them and made sure they were okay with me doing a prize giveaway for them. Um, Most of them are always like, yeah, that's fine. Like they don't really care as long as you're not selling it. But
A lot.
printed them and
Oh.
gave them away. So
Do you have anything planned for 2025 that's like this event that you did last year?
so far, the only thing set in stone is we do have a Switch 2 we're giving out in November.
Okay.
It's sitting upstairs right now. It's ready to ship. Other than that, I don't have anything planned. I'm starting to reach out to companies. I didn't start as early this year as I did last year. But we did talk about doing a huge Fortnite tournament, trying to get a bunch of Fortnite streamers in. So if anybody knows any,
Any Fortnite streamers out there? Want to help? Coming November. November will be the stream. Our
yeah,
National Diabetes Awareness Month.
yeah, we'll be doing probably a week-long thing again, like we always do. Just not on National Diabetes Day because that's my wife's birthday.
Yes.
And I can't do that day.
Yeah, that takes priority.
She will kill me.
I got to meet your wife actually. She's very, very sweet. At our first in-person fundraising event last year, Play by the Bay. You were one of 4 creators that we flew out to San Francisco to meet together in person. Did a T1D walk out there. We got to go do some fun excursions, and then we ended the weekend at Twitch headquarters doing a charity stream with the fish. We brought the fish slap back there. Could you share with us more about your experience getting to be a part of that and what some of your big highlights were at Play by the Bay?
Oh, it was such a good time. I cannot remember for the life of me. I cannot remember the researcher we went and met up with.
Minutia.
Minutia. Thank you. I was thinking about that earlier. I cannot remember what their name was. It was really cool to go tour their lab and everything, and go chat with their entire C-level team. It was really really cool to hear what they're doing. The trolley ride in San Francisco. I never thought I'd ever. Oh, I never thought I'd go to San Francisco. First of all, doing the trolley ride down the hills
Yeah,
was
that was
terrifying, but
really
also a lot
cool.
of fun.
Yeah. Did
Um,
not think it'd be so steep going up and down the streets of San
I
Francisco.
it felt like you were going straight down, and then there's trolleys coming the other way, and you feel like you're gonna smash into them, and it was fun. Um, yeah, I mean, there's all that, and then just going to Twitch HQ, hanging out with Enigma and Wavy and Ariel, and doing the Death Nuts.
The
Those things
death
were hot.
they were.
Those things were really hot. And then the funny thing is, okay, story time. So we're all eating the Death Nuts. You know, all of us, we're eating like level 1. I swear level 1 was probably the second hottest. Level 2 was not that bad. Level 3 was not that bad. Level 4 was not that bad. Level 5 was insane. We go through all that. Wavy's over there sweating the whole time. And then Nukes comes in, eats all 5 at once, like it's nothing. And everybody thinks, oh yeah, she's handling it like it's nothing. She leaves the room, completely different story when she gets to the other room. Like, you can see her over there. It's way hotter by then, but
Yeah, that was like a
on
lingering.
stream, like, played it cool the whole time on stream though.
Oh, yeah. They were, that was for me. So I do eat a lot of spicy food. Big fan of Hot Ones on YouTube. Definitely watch a lot of that, eating a lot of their hot sauce. So I'm no like that's not my first rodeo when it comes to that level of spice, but those death nuts had definitely it did not go away was I think the problem was I was sitting there afterwards like,
Wow.
oh, okay, I ate this, but the spice is lingering here a little
think
way
peanuts-
too long.
I think peanuts kind of get stuck in your teeth and everything anyway, so it
That
just kind of
is
smashed in
true.
there, and it just kind of
Yeah, I didn't even
it
consider
lingered
that.
for sure.
Yeah, it probably was just sitting in there in our mouths way too long.
It was just funny though, because you played it cool the entire time on
Oh,
stream,
yeah.
but then the moment you left the room, it was like, oh,
yeah.
look, now it's hot.
Oh yeah, I'm a stranger
just
to
funny watching-
entertainment.
It's just funny watching Wavy sweat the whole time though.
Poor
It's
Wavy.
great.
I felt so. I was the one who came up with the idea to do these. It's called the Death Nut Challenge. It's 5 progressively hotter nuts. That was my idea, and I kept telling them, I was like, if you're not comfortable with this, don't feel like you have to. I'm sure because it was a charity stream, you all were like, oh yeah, no problem. And I was sitting in the other room like, oh my gosh, especially watching Wavy, who was just sweating profusely. I was like, oh my goodness.
I think I had it the easiest because I had a slight cold, so I was congested. It wasn't that bad for me. It was still pretty bad, but it wasn't. I think it was a little bit better for me than it was for the rest.
And I can't
cheated
remember,
the
we
system.
had, one of the other things we had was a Warhead sour pickle incentive.
Oh, those were awful. I don't hate pickles. I hate the Warhead pickles because I had tried it before that. My daughter and I had
okay.
one.
A Kool-Aid, you try a Kool-Aid pickle, Tuna?
We did. We did that, I think, in August. We made Kool-Aid pickles. Somebody told me you just dump some Kool-Aid and like a little bit of sugar in a pickle jar. It wasn't the worst thing I've ever had, but it wasn't good.
No.
Like, the whole pickle comes out red. And it was weird.
Yeah, I feel like that's one of those, sometimes foods should not be a different color type of thing. Remembering back, they did like the ketchup that was like purple and green back in the day, and there's just something fundamentally wrong with that.
The weird flavored sodas were weird too. We had like ranch flavored soda and everything last year.
Ooh.
So I will say I did remember one thing I'm doing this November. I am not a big fan of ranch anything except like ranch Doritos. So my wife is putting together a bunch of ranch flavored things as challenges we'll be doing in November. So it's gonna be torture for me.
Oh wow.
We're gonna have a wheel of ranch. It's
A
gonna be
wheel
horrible.
of ranch. I love that. Okay, you're mentioning so many fun, different fundraising incentives you've done in the past. What do you think is the craziest one?
I mean, the sodas were pretty bad. I mean, there's ranch flavored and buffalo flavored. They were all really, really, really awful. I told them if we raised a certain amount, I can't remember what it was, I would mix them all together and drink them.
Oh no.
It was actually way better to mix them all together than it was individually. Yeah, it was significantly better. I think that's probably up there on my list.
I'm gonna have to look into these sodas. That sounds That does sound like a really great charity incentive, though. Just trying
Jalapeno flavored. That was one of them too, I
jalapeno.
think.
Ooh, is it spicy?
It was just gross.
It was just
It was
gross.
just gross. Yeah.
Want to reel back a little bit. What advice do you have for other Wendy parents?
I mean, the first week is going to be overwhelming, but it's not really that bad. After the first week, it gets easier. Um, your kid's gonna grow up. They're gonna be normal. It's gonna be a normal. Your kid's gonna be a perfectly normal kid. Um, don't don't uh, don't treat them any different. Honestly, just they're seriously just a normal kid that needs a little extra care.
I love
I
that
mean,
so
I
much.
it terrified me at first because we had a Disneyland trip planned like 2 months in the future when he got
Mm,
diagnosed. I was terrified. Like he's not going to be able to ride anything. He's not going to be able to do anything. Like what do I I was terrified. But honestly, he was a normal kid. He rode everything there. I mean everything he could ride for a 4-year old. Um, everything was normal. It was just I
yeah.
needed to calm myself down and yeah.
I think that's, I mean, especially in the beginning, that is really scary because a lot of unknown. Something we've talked about before on these T1D Tuesdays is this concept of you have T1D, T1D doesn't have you, and I think that fits really well here, where you're still a normal kid. It's He's a normal kid with type 1 diabetes. That I think is very, very powerful, important thing to remember at the end of the day.
And like I said, he doesn't let anything affect him. He still does his thing like it's nobody's business. Sure, I could be a helicopter parent and be like, "No, you can't do that," and try and overprotect him. But what's that really going to do for him? He's still just a normal kid. He's gonna you know go play. He's gonna be happy. He still eats the same things except he actually can't eat the same things. But other than that, he can still eat the same things as long as he's getting insulin for
Yeah,
it and everything.
yeah.
It's just a normal everyday life. Just you got to make sure things are taken care of. He may not heal as quickly, but other than that, he'll still heal.
And he still has to learn like any other kid, and all of us learn by making mistakes while still, like, having that safety net of parents around to help us when we fall. So I think that's great that you're not helicopter parenting him. What is your personal definition of success when it comes to diabetes?
Not keeping him in range because that never happens. Honestly, for him, just seeing him thrive elsewhere. Uh, his grades are great, despite the fact that he has to go to the nurse's office several times a day because his pump's going off. His grades are still good. He's still thriving in school. He's still playing sports and succeeding and being active and hanging out with his friends, and he's still living his normal life and doing well at it. Um, I mean, I don't know what more you could be successful than just him him doing what he's doing.
I love that. I love that your answer really didn't have anything to do with like the numbers and stuff, but just like yeah, being able to still live this normal life. That's the
I mean, we try
yeah.
to keep him in range, but
Oh yeah, yeah. I'm not saying yeah
there's so
you
many
don't,
outside
but
variables. You
there's
just can't.
there's such a balance there, right? Where you don't want it to take over your life. You don't want it to be this thing that you're constantly worried about, and want to still be able to experience what life has to give. And that sounds like that's what you and your wife are doing for him, is letting him still be a kid while trying to manage his diabetes. Like,
Yeah.
both parts are there. A question, I love this one. This is my favorite one that we ask everyone who comes on to T1D Tuesday. If there was one thing that you could say to your past self when you had just learned your son was diagnosed with T1D, what would you say?
Calm down. Calm down. Uh, I I'm not gonna say I was speeding all the way to the hospital. I'm not gonna say there were tears running down my face. I'm not gonna say any of that. I'm just gonna say I should have calmed down a little bit. It wasn't as big of a deal as I thought it was. I mean, it was stressful,
Yeah.
but just take a step back, calm down. Overall, you listen to the doctors, you listen to the dietitians and everybody else that's there. We've done like a lot of T1D walks and everything too, and we've met some really cool people. You build up your support group. We've built up a really great support group. Like Bearded Legend, he's just an awesome human being. I talk him up all the time. You find these people that are gonna just help you through those times,
Yes.
and it's not that difficult. You just like most things in life, you take a step back, you reevaluate, and it's really usually not as big of a deal as you make it out to be to begin with.
But I think it is good to give yourself grace that in that moment, I think that was a very, very valid human reaction to have, running into the unknown, your son in the hospital with type 1 diabetes.
Yeah, yeah,
Definitely a stressful, scary thing in that moment.
absolutely. I mean, he was there and he hadn't eaten all day. I remember right after they finally let him eat something, he had this gigantic burger. He was 4 years old and he just chowed down. He ate the whole thing like it was nothing, and he was still hungry after. He was like, I'm like, where'd you even put that thing?
Oh.
I felt so bad for him, but yeah.
We're touching there on support systems and how important those are. How can people help and support those in the T1D?
Um, I think going to the Breakthrough T1D walks, the one walks, those are awesome. Go meet some people. Go hit all the booths. Learn about all of all the different like we learn something new every time we go there. We learned about the inhalers for type 2 recently. I didn't even know they
Oh,
had the inhalers.
yeah, I
You could
didn't
do
know
an
that
inhaler
either.
for, yeah. Like there's just so many different things you learn every time you go. Joining the Breakthrough T1D Play Discord. There's so many great people in there.
Yeah, there are so many great people in the Discord and a lot to learn. And you're bound to find someone who, if you're, whether you're someone who's a parent or living with T1D yourself, someone that you can make a connection with and be there for each other. We are such a vibe.
If you like spending time on Twitch, you're gonna find a lot of streamers in there that have some sort of connection to Type One. Most of them are. I'm gonna say all of them. All of them are really good people. I
Yeah.
can't say most of them because that's gonna, call out people like Dennis, right? I'm kidding. I love Dennis. I love Dennis.
it is
Dennis
it
is
is
always
a
fun.
really fantastic group of people who are always there for each other. Sometimes do gaming together. Great place to get news about upcoming fundraising events we have. So, can you share with us what you've got going on in your life right now that excites you? What are you looking forward to?
Oh, so many things. My son has a basketball camp coming up in a couple weeks, and they have an ex Denver Nugget. He only played there for like 1 or 2 seasons as a backup, but he's super excited about meeting. And so that's gonna be fun. I get to go hang out with ex NBA player and my son. Obviously, November is gonna be a great time. We get to start planning for charity stuff. I love that time of year. Um, what else? It's almost autumn. My favorite time of year. Get to go do all the fun Halloween
Yeah.
things, and it's gonna not be 100 degrees out. I'm very much looking forward to that.
Yes. What about
Look, at my
over
age, it's the little things.
on your own Twitch channel? What can people expect if they come check out twitch.tv/ToonaFeesh?
A lot of Sea of Thieves and Hunt Showdown. Let's see, what are we doing coming up soon? In 2 weeks. Have you played the game Peak yet?
I love Peak. I love.
We are going to be doing a 20-person collaboration in that game.
Oh.
We're going to have 20 streamers in there doing Peak because you could do a mod
Oh,
for it, and
yeah.
it's going to be
Yeah.
absolute chaos.
Dang, I was about to say if you're looking for someone to play, I'd love Peak, but it sounds like you've got 20 people already. It is a lot
I
of
mean, any
fun.
other time,
Yeah. Oh, I absolutely.
I'll have to bug you.
That should be chaotic. Chat, if you don't already, please go give ToonaFeesh a follow on Twitch. Definitely deserves it. Tuna, it was so great getting to talk with you today about being a parent when living with type 1 diabetes.
I mean, it's one of my passions is to work with this group of people. So,
Kat, thank you all so much for hanging out with us. And we will see you all next time. Bye.
bye.